Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. And on this week's show, we're going to be previewing the best of the action at Newcastle on the all-weather, of course, Northumberland Plate Day. But also, of course, it is the Irish Derby Festival at the Curragh. We're also going to be looking at the best of the action from over there. Now, joining me in the studio is Declan Rix. So, Dec, just you and me this week.
Just you and me, yeah.
In here, at least.
Yeah, we've binned off Sam, but yeah, how are you after Royal Ascot? Recovered?
Yeah, just about recovered now. Yeah, feeling fresh again. How about you?
Yeah, it was a good week, yeah, I say it was a good week, terrible punting week, Went into Ascot on Tuesday, with a hop, skip and a jump, and I left with my tail between my legs.
As most people did, I think, to be honest. It's a tricky betting.
Got on the train then, had a little cry. Why couldn't Sonny Liston get up in the Hunt Cup?
Sonny Liston, Lethal Levi, though, did us at least pass of a turn anyway of his place.
He ran a cracker, hit the frame at 28-1, and I know your next best, Sharon, went in, but we got to give the big clap this week to El Sammy Boy, who nailed the winner, the Hardwick at a big price. What a shout that was.
Exactly that, and nicely teed up by Dec as well. Yeah, Isle of Jura, Sam Boswell, we had to bring him back just for that and to get him to video link us in from Frankfurt in Germany, Sam, more importantly. So Isle of Jura, hopefully is paid for a nice little trip out there, but work-related.
Yeah, Isle of Jura, a fantastic winner and a fantastic story. Very pleased, even more pleased with the drift as well. Went off a big price. But yeah, Royal Ascot, a great week. And yeah, lucky for me, I'm here in Frankfurt where BetVictor is sponsoring the World Cup of Darts, where like the Euros, England are a short price for glory at around 4 to 7. But less of the darts, less of the football. Let's get stuck into the racing.
You should have seen Sam in the press room when Isle of Jura won. He was like Callum Shepherd going around shushing everyone. It was brilliant.
Too right, rightly so. Though if I'd found a 16-1 winner, I'd be doing the exact same. Right, well, Sam is enjoying all the darts and the football action in Germany. As said, we're going to focus on the racing. But before we do, a reminder, as ever, to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, we begin at Newcastle with the 204. This is for Group 3, Chipchase Stakes, 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs. Now, Kinross makes this belated seasonal return here, heads the market at 11-4. Dec, so who do you fancy?
Yeah, it's a cracking race. We'd 16 in at the 5-day stage, 11 declared, and look, it's just bonkers competitive as the market suggests. I think Kinross is the correct favourite, but as a 7-year-old now, maybe do we want to be taking them on? Look, it's hard to rule many out at the prices, to be honest, and even though 3- and 4-year-olds have won 7 of the last 10 renewals, I'm going to side with a 6-year-old in Albashire. He just loves Newcastle, this guy. He's been to Newcastle 4 times. He's won there twice. He's finished 3rd once, and he's finished 7th on the other occasion. So I do think whatever it is about the track and maybe the surface, this is the track that brings out the best in him. And I do think that the time that he disappointed here when he was 7th, I think he just hit the lids too quick that day. Got no cover, which is a very dangerous thing here at Newcastle because they often run into a bit of a headwind. So I think if he is going to win on Saturday, Holly Doyle's going to have to get him to miss the gates, get him back on his hocks and just get loads of cover early and produce him late. I think the race sets up well for him given he's won over 5 furlongs. I think that was the 5 furlong race that he won. He absolutely bowled up. Not loads of pace in the race, but he does stay 6 furlongs. He's got that 5 furlong pace. And, I just think if Holly can get him covered up and come with a late withering run, I can hopefully finally have a winner.
You're doing yourself a disservice there, Dec, definitely so. But Albashire for Dec, Sam, who did you like?
I think it's a really tricky contest, Kate, and I am keeping my stakes small here. But I did come down on Kinross and felt, for all this is a starting point, as you mentioned, let's not forget last year's starting point came in a Group 1 at Royal Ascot, whereas we're now belatedly a week later. I'd like to think they've got plenty of work into the horse, and I do think this is an easier starting point than last year. We're watching him back here where Frankie just gets chinned on him in France, and I just think, I know it's not the 7 furlongs. I'd love to have seen him over 7 on the all-weather. The all-weather actually isn't really the question mark for me. I'm not too worried about the surface. I'd just say it is that trip, but the rest in here just have to do a bit more for me to find it. I don't think Kinross needs to be at his peak best to win this, and I think you might get a little bit bigger than the price as well. I can see him drifting. I can see him not being a horse people want to get too involved with. So for my money, I was a very tentative small bet on Kinross. The only other one I like the look of at a massive price. I did wonder if Ballymountain Boy could take a step forward and improve. The reappearance was disappointing, but definitely I think suited by the artificial surface, and James Doyle on at 18-1. That was the only kind of each way angle I had into the race. But for me, I'm going for Kinross, just a small win bet.
Another Wafnan horse, though. Sammy Boswell loves these Wafnan horses. That an each-way price for Ballymountain Boy, though, has a much bigger price. But the main play, though, for Sam is going to be Kinross. Where, I mean, to be fair, that price for Kinross could look very big because he is for Class Act. We all know that. But the point that I was making when he was due to run in the QE2 Jubilee Stakes, of course, at Royal Ascot in that reappearance, was the fact it was his reappearance and it was 6 furlongs, that being a stiffer 6 furlongs. I mean, Newcastle's 6 furlongs is still much stiffer than people think, but like you say, with the lack of pace on, the headwind's not going to be as bad as it has been earlier on in the week on Saturday, or it's not forecast to anyway. So it probably won't be that much of a negative to be as far forwards as we've seen on many occasions. But I am just concerned about Kinross, and so again, if I was taking him on at Ascot, even though this is a lesser grade, I'm going to be taking him on here, even though it kills me because I love this horse so much. But not for me on this occasion, because Montesive then is going to have to be the play for me. We talk about this being specialist enough. Now, Montesive, of course, has enough to find with Kinross on official ratings, but he's 1 from 1 on the all-weather, with that success also coming over this course and distance on Derby. 6 furlongs, though, definitely his trip. And we're seeing him winning the Camage Trophy listed stakes over the 6 furlongs at Doncaster at the end of March. And he just had the ideal running style that I want to be translated to the straight track at Newcastle. Held up, but with that lightning turn of foot that he's got, though, to be able to side through the field and to come out on top. Now, of course, last time out was a lesser effort from him up to Group 2 company in the Duke of York Clippers Stakes behind Millstream. That was form of the time I was dubious of, but subsequently, there's not really all that much you can knock about it anyway. So hopefully, this is a good opportunity for Montesive to take on Kinross.
I can't believe Tracey's Trends hasn't mentioned William Haggis is going for his 3rd win in a row in this
Exactly,
race.
And fascinating that I thought Tiberflow was going to go here. He's going to the Criterion Stakes instead. So surely that's a positive note then for the stablemate Montesive coming here.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, why is Kinross not going to the Criterion Stakes on the turf over 7? He's a 7 furlong specialist.
Quick rounded.
That's what I was anticipating. But yeah, so we're getting kind of mixed signals. We can skew these stats whichever way we want, and we tend to do so. But let us know in the comment section below who you fancy for the Chipchase Stakes as we move on to the 3:10 at Newcastle. Now, this is the feature race, of course, at Newcastle, the Northumberland Plate, the Heritage Handicap for the 2-year-olds and over the extended 2 miles. Big betting race of the week, Sam. So what wins it?
Oh, nice easy one to tee me up there.
Hospital pass, there you go.
I tell you what, I would just say that with the each-way concessions that you get in these kind of races, don't be afraid to have a couple of runners. I've got plenty of time for the favourite, Trooper Brisdy, which should be some achievement to bounce out and win this, obviously, and make it 3 in a row for the season and make such a quick reappearance. But I actually liked a horse called Yasin for Jesse Harrington, who, if you remember last week's show, my nap didn't actually run. It was a non-runner, but this horse was just behind him when they both had to chase home Kyprios. That was Queenstown last week. But Yasin, that was a Group 3 last time out, and I felt ran really nicely. It's been 7th in the Ebor last season as well. And you go back through the form book and some of the quotes, this horse, after it won at Leopardstown in May last year, they were talking Melbourne Cup. Obviously, things didn't transpire to that sort of level of option. But I definitely think in a contest like this, going up to 2 miles for the first time is a really, really interesting play. Around a 10-1 shot, and does have the jockey taking a handy 3 off in Scott McCulloch. So, like I say, I was looking for an each-way angle into the race. Yasin, for me, I thought was curious, the Irish Raider, to go well at a price.
Yeah, definitely so. So we like that angle a lot for Sam.
Sam is in good company because resident at theraces.com anti-post tipster Gary Nutting has put Yashin up this week. So there you go. Ooh. 2 judges have aligned. 2 judges aligned then, and a nice price to go with it for Yashin. Are you also aligning? I am not aligning with Yashin, although he did make the shortlist, but with 20 runners, I think plenty. I was going to say, how many did? Yeah, 20 runner all-weather handicap for a big pot. You know, they started start at the top of the straight there, don't they, at the 2 pole? And I think kind of just looking at the pace of the map, I don't think there's any out-and-out front runners. I can see being a big mad dash on for the first 3 or 4 furlongs and then maybe the race steadying up a bit. I didn't want to be on an out-and-out hold-up horse because I think they might just have a little bit too much to do. But I think a horse will probably just track the pace and race a little bit prominently. Hopefully can switch off a bit better today is Grand Providence for the Andrew Balding team. Now, look, I'm in danger of going over the cliff with this filly, but I do like her. She's a beautiful big daughter of Nathaniel, and I just think there's still progress in her. And she ran a cracker in the Chester Cup because she missed the start. Hayley Turner had to rush her up to get a good position, and I just think the combination of that rushing up and maybe the big atmosphere at the track, it just lit her up. And given how strongly she travelled for how long in the race, I thought she ran a cracker. Now, you can see here her stride is getting a little bit collected. I do think this ground was as quick as she wanted, given she's a little bit bigger now this season as a 4-year-old. I think getting back on a kinder surface on Newcastle's Tapita is going to really suit her. She let herself down a little better as well. And she's already a winner on the all-weather. She's by Nathaniel, who of course sired the Great Enable, who broke her maiden on the all-weather, and she's out of the Dam Sire's an American stallion as well. So I think a lot of this points to her handling the surface, and look, we know she stays really well, and for a top team in the Balding Yard. So if David Prober can just get her to switch off a little bit better today and utilise her energy better, I think she's a big each-way player in a big open race.
You make a very good case for her, but I'm also glad that you chose the Chester Cup footage, because that helps me out quite a lot. Because I am on the winner. I wasn't on the winner that day, but I am on the winner of that race this time around, that being Zoffy, of course, he's a really funny horse. He's a very interesting character, isn't he? Because, of course, he's now back with Hugo Palmer after his couple of hurdle starts for Ollie Murphy, which he didn't enjoy, but he wasn't so keen on hurdling when he was with Philip Hobbs either. He much prefers the flat, and I find him funny because it's almost as though with this success he was proving a point. He was just saying to them, please keep all 4 of my feet on the ground. I promise I will win. Just keep me on the flat and don't make me jump anything. And he rewarded them with a success at Chester. So that was great to see. Of course, going 1 better than in the race last year. Now, he didn't actually go for the Ascot Stakes in the end this year, which may have looked a likely target. But, of course, he ran no race in this contest last year. But it probably came too soon after running in the Ascot Stakes as well last season. So Connections are avoiding trying to do that double. He won the Consolation race in 2022, so no issues with this course and distance, and he should have every chance again, hopefully so. So I'm going to side with Zoffy, but Dec, just to reiterate.
I'm Girl Power this week with Grand Providence.
Go Power, and then Sam is with Yashin. Again, do let us know who you fancy in the comments section below. Now, before we move on to our next race, though, a reminder to hit subscribe on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Right, we switch now over to the Curragh for the 3:30. This is, of course, the Group 1 Pretty Polly Stakes for the fillies and mares.
More Girl Power.
More Girl Power. What more could you want on a Saturday? 10 furlongs this time. Blue Stocking heads away at 13-8. So, Dec, are you siding with her or taking her on?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to take her on. We've got a field of 8 declared, and I think this is a really good renewal of the race. Emily Upjohn at her best is not just a top-class mare, she's a top-class horse. I think Blue Stocking was sensational at York last time out, has the makings of being a top-class mare as well. And even in here, you've got Stay Alert and Lumia Rock, who are both very smart fillies. So really looking forward to this race. In terms of how it's going to play out, I don't know about you and Sam, but I don't see an awful lot of pace in the race. I suspect Lumia Rock will go forward, and maybe the Johnston Raider as well, Francipone, they will go forward, but they're not kind of out-and-out speedball front runners, are kind of more sit-and sprint type. So it could get a little bit messy, and horses will need to switch off and whatnot. And that is probably a little bit of a worry for my selection, Emily Upjohn, who wears a hood, but she can travel strongly. But And there's people probably now throwing stuff at the computer going, what's he doing putting this horse up now again? And I can see that if people have that opinion, but I think it's last chance saloon for me with old Emily Upjohn. This is her winning a couple of seasons ago on British Champions Day over 12 furlongs on ground with significant cutting it. But I think she's now a 10 furlong good ground filly, and she's going to get that at the Curragh on Saturday. Look, you've got to forgive the Coronation Cup run, absolutely no doubt about it. But I haven't went back and watched the race properly. I didn't think she shaped too bad. Now, she was a stinking drifter on the day. She clearly needed the run badly, and when you're factoring that into how she shaped, I think she ran all right. I just think soft ground isn't her bag, 12 furlongs isn't her bag off a slow pace, and she clearly wasn't fit. The vibes about her are being much better now this week. I see Kieran Schumacher was interviewed in Sky Sports Racing earlier in the week, and she said she's in much better shape. She's going to get 10 furlongs, she's going to get a nice galloping track, and she's going to get good ground. So I'm just hoping she'll have a little bit more toe and a little bit more class than Blue Stocking, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the class angle, isn't it? But you're edging ever closer to that cliff then with Emily Upjohn.
Yeah.
Sam, where are you on the Emily Upjohn cliff?
I reached the bottom of it after it. Yeah, she effectively, I'm against her here, and I am suckered in by Blue Stocking, who must be one of the best horses to not yet have won a Group 1, I think it's fair to say. I really like her. It's not necessarily I like her more than Emily Upjohn. I just think in the context of her arriving here off the back of what was, to my eye, a very impressive York win. Watching the horse here finishing second at Ascot at the back end of last season, and she's just got a lot of class. She's improving. You go back through it, she ran at the Curragh, didn't she, last year, and finished just second to Save the Last Dance. It was an absolutely fantastic horse. I just have so many angles on her that I like. I think the fact she's improving is great. I'm pleased that her reappearance run was significantly better than Emily Upjohn's, and Deck does point to the drift on that day. But for me, I just kind of can't keep giving Emily Upjohn those chances. And I thought the win over Free Wind, who was a bit of a standing dish in that race at York, was definitely one you could mark up. Yard ticking over nicely, Rafe Beckett. And I think there's every opportunity that we're going to see, hopefully, a real superstar.
Yeah, she could well be that. And now that she's got the confidence boost of actually getting that win in stakes company now as well, she's probably that kind of horse where we'll take great confidence out of it then to be able to take forwards. But there is always just that slight doubt, though, at the back of my mind. Maybe I'm not, definitely not as forgiving as you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. I wondered at times last year, did she really want to go through with it, if I'm being honest? But, you always try and give horses the benefit of the doubt. She is quite a big filly, and she might have just been a little bit weak. Yeah. And you shouldn't forget they've had cheek pieces on her now and again. And she was brilliant at York. But I would say that York race fell apart badly. But that's me kind of taking on maybe the two of you this week. Is that how you're going to say it?
Yes, very much so. Well, I'm hedging my bets really, because I'm going the each way price. Because Blue Stocking, I think she is very much the one to beat. And as I say, with the confidence now renewed as well, that I'm sorry, Dak, I can't be keeping Emily Upjohn on side. But the one who is the price for me in this that I have to be backing is Lumiere Rock. But it would be the each way of the 8 runners then in here. But again, it's one of those where I don't think I'm chucking away the win part of a bet for all that I think that Blue Stocking is the one to beat, because of just those slight doubts about potential resolve issues from last season. But maybe that's just a harsh way of thinking. But Lumiere Rock, though, if she can just revert back to the form that she is showing here when she finished third in the Group 1 Prix de l'Opera at Longchamp, not beaten far at all behind Blue Rose Sen and Jackie O, then that will see her going much better than last time out, where she was set such a tough task, where she went to the Group 1 Tattersalls Gold Cup over the same course and distance. That was her reappearance back against her own sex, as we've just seen when she was taking on the girls there in Group 1 company. She was well able to vie for it with the best of them. So I just thought Lumiere Rock, 12-1. Each way play with that little bit of a savour should Blue Stocking be too good for them. I thought that that might just be an angle, but though you're in the forgiving mood, Emily Upjohn.
Yes, it's once more onto the breach with Emily Upjohn for me, yeah.
Once more, Sam is then with Blue Stocking. I'm going each way with Lumiere Rock. Again, do let us know who you fancy for the Pretty Polly Stakes. Now, of course, the big one over the weekend comes up on Sunday. At the time of recording, we don't actually have decks, and we don't have declarations, but we don't also have the draw or jockey bookings as such.
You get them excuses in for us. I love it.
I try my best to. But of course, the Group 1 Irish Derby comes up at the Curragh at 4:05 on Sunday for the 3-year-olds over a mile 4. Now, of course, we have the Epsom 2nd and 3rd in here, renewing their rivalry. Ambiente Friendly, 11-10 favourite to uphold that form with Los Angeles, Sam. So does he uphold it?
For my money, yeah, I'm incredibly keen on Ambiente Friendly here, and I think we'll get a bigger price as well. I can see a few people wanting to get stuck into Los Angeles, but I was at Lingfield this day with the Derby trial win, and I was just so taken with this horse. And you can see why, obviously, there's been so much conversation, and they've chosen to obviously add him to the race here. I just think he's got such a lovely attitude, goes really well. And obviously the form of this run has been significantly boosted as well with the fact that the second went on to win at Royal Ascot. And let's be honest, everything seemingly coming out of that Derby looks like it's going to probably be quite a good renewal, fingers crossed. I just really like this horse, and I'm fairly sure I'm not going to be alone. I reckon at least one of you is surely siding with James Vanshaw's horse.
Yeah, I'm with Ambiente Friendly as well. I think it's interesting breaking down this race. Ballydoyle are surely going to control the tempo of the race, aren't they? And given Los Angeles can be ridden by Ryan Moore, he's going to be their big hope. And for him to win, I think they need to go at least a good, even gallop, because he looks like a stayer. He's probably a potential candidate, I'd say. And the other thing as well, it looks like the ground at the Curragh is going to be quicker than it was at Epsom. The race at Epsom, the Derby this year, was run on good to soft ground. I think the time was over 3 seconds above standard in a very strongly run race. So I just think the race will set up well a bit, Ambiente Friendly. I would just say, given he is such a keen goer, he has had the fortune in his last 2 runs where he's been able to run into a strong gallop and get settled and get cover. He might have a smaller field here, potentially off a more tactical gallop in parts. So it'll be interesting to see how he settles. The other thing we've got to mention with him as well, this will be his first trip away from home. He's clearly not a straightforward individual, although he is getting better. And I just like to have a look at the market before the race, just to make sure everything is in good order. But if it is in good order, just the class and the pace he showed travelling into the Derby, he genuinely did look the winner. 2 out until that little horse, 16-1, one of them, City of Troy, loomed up on the rail and powered away. And look, I think it was a good Derby this year. He was well on top of the rest of the field, and I think as long as everything's in good order with him, I think he's the bet in the race. Yeah, right. The hat-trick then is going to be hopefully landed with the 3 of us all with Ambiente Friendly. Like I say, he is at the head of market, but it is just tactically fascinating when you go over to the Curragh, Ballydoyle's backyard, then basically for Raiders going over to Ireland. And I mean, just think back to the Irish 2000 Guineas for Siskin a few years ago. Ballydoyle, I think they had about 27 runners in that to try and put Siskin off. Yet it almost paid off, but he still had just too much speed for them. Ambiente Friendly, I think, has too much speed for Los Angeles. So it's interesting what Ballydoyle are going to do, because they're going to want the stamina test for Los Angeles, but that will help Ambiente settle better and will also stretch the field, you would have imagined. So they're kind of caught in a catch-22 situation with Ambiente Friendly. It's interesting you mentioned that. We should also mention that Ambiente Friendly is by Glen Eagles, who is a Coolmore stallion. So, I'm sure exactly, that they say the lads never lose, and that could be the case here. So, it is probably a race that if they do happen to lose, they definitely won't mind losing to Ambiente Friendly, given the stallion he's by. Yeah, that's a very good point. Well made. Right, all 3 of us then with Ambiente Friendly. Let us know who you fancy for the Irish Derby in the comment section below as we head over to the Skypad to give you our best bets for the weekend. Now, the all-important part, our best bets for the weekend. Dec, would you like to kick us off? Yes, please. The nap this week is going to go at Newmarket in the Criterion Stakes. It's going to be Noble Dynasty for the Godolphin team. I just loved his comeback run at Newmarket earlier in the season, beating English Oak. Giving that horse £15. That horse has subsequently won twice and now is rated 108. The form is there for everybody to see. So hopefully a nice local winner for the Charlie Appleby and William Buick team. The next best we've already discussed. It's going to be Ambiente Friendly in the Curragh. Just hope they go a nice gallop for him just to help him settle and make Rab Havlin's life a little bit easier. And then the long shot is going to go in the Northumberland Plate. I actually like this lad. I'm keen on him. I think 25-1 is too big. He was third in this race off 90, the same mark to Tracey 2 years ago. And now he started this season poorly, but he's been building himself back into better form. Ran a cracker last time out at Haydock behind Divine Comedy, the only horse to give him a race. That form was franked at Royal Ascot as well last week. And, you know, it was a big effort trying to concede an in-form and clearly well-handicapped horse, giving him £6. So I think with course and distance form in the bag for the Hugo Palmer team, he is a big player in a wide open race.
Very wide open, definitely an ideal race then to be going for a long shot. But of course we do have the naps being boosted again this week very generously by BetVictor. And Dec, your nap, Noble Dynasty, 2-1 out to 9-4 as well. So take a bit of that.
That'll do. The South African traders off this week, is he? We getting normal prices?
Normal price of 9-4 as well. We will take that all day. Right, they are Dec's best bets. Sam, we're going to beam you in then for your own best bets and with further boost for your nap as well.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear, a boost or two, even if Dec's almost very snooty about our slightly eccentric odds occasionally. Right, let's go through mine. Blue Stocking for me, she has to be the nap. This is her opportunity to really confirm her class, I believe. A bit of a passing of the torch from Emily Upjohn, around, 13-8 Blue Stocking. And if we're boosting that, fantastic news, get a slightly bigger price. I think she can go well at the Curragh. Just we'll touch on, there was a little bit of rain around at the Curragh. I don't think it's going to change the ground too much, but I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of mils for her. Ambient friendly, a bit like Dec, my next best as well. I'm glad we all agree here. Fingers crossed we all come out of this looking very clever. And I do think that price will drift a little bit as well. I can see a little bit of local support for the Irish runners, and I suspect we might get a little bit bigger than that 11-10. We shall see who lines up come the declaration stage. And then finally, I've really cheated on the long shot this week. I wanted 2 in the big race at Newcastle. And let's be honest, 8-1 probably is really stretching it for a long shot. But Kate, you made a really good case for Zoffy earlier on in the show. And I'm a big fan of this horse. And I think having won the consolation race, going back in time a little bit, and then recently winning at Chester, I think this really looks like a standing dish to be placing here. Best of luck for everyone that's having a bet this weekend. Of course, loads of big sport going on, so I will just shoehorn in the darts and football double, which is England to lift the Euros trophy 7-2, England to lift the World Cup of darts here in Germany as well. 6-1 the double pays. Come on, England.
Oh, come on, England. Yeah, I know which side of that I'm probably more confident about, to be honest, from what we've seen of late. But thank you for that, Sam. And ignore the heckles from the audience in the studio then as well about your long shot, because you gave me the compliment. Now, your nap, Blue Stocking, has been boosted 13-8 to 15-8 as well. So like that a lot. Now, I'm going for a different race then for my nap, the one that we've covered so far in the show. This is for listed Fred Archer Stakes. And I really like King of Conquest in here. I think 6-4 is a fair price. I don't see how the reopposing Aymeric reverses the form from last time out at Goodwood enlisted company there. And the market has reevaluated itself somewhat because it's now got Crystal Delight coming in for support. But that horse still has enough to find, even though his form has really improved since joining Harry Eustace. So King of Conquest, ground versatile, speed for 10, operates just as well over a mile 4. And hopefully this is another good opportunity for him at listed level. My next best is going to be Lumiere Rock. Purely price dictated, really, for the 12-1 shot in the Pretty Polly Stakes. As I say, I'm expecting Blue Stocking to take all the beating, but just with that slight doubt I have about Blue Stocking, that Lumiere Rock can't be underestimated after taking on White Birch and August Rodin last time out. This is going to be slightly easier than for her taking on her own sex. And the long shot, it's going to be a valuation 14-1 in the Northumberland Plate. Now with Lucinda Russell, who could do with a win, admittedly, but this lad won for this yard last time out on just his second start for this yard, previously with Charlie Johnston. And last time out, that success also came on the Tapeta at Wolverhampton over 2 miles. Did really well to come from off of the pace there in a tactical race. So hopefully Newcastle will suit his running style just that bit better. So they are my best bets then for this weekend. And of course, my nap also being boosted. King of Conquest, 6-4 out to 7-4 for that 250 at Newmarket. But that is everything from us on this week's show. So a big big thank you to Dec for joining me. Big thank you to Sam for beaming in from Germany as well. Sam, continue to have an amazing time out there. Dec and I are not jealous whatsoever of you. But more importantly, a bigger thank you to you at home for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend, and we'll be back at the same time next week to preview more of the weekend action.